Commissioner, thank you for being with us today to discuss the fiscal 14 budget request for FDA. In other subcommittee hearings, I've already lamented the fact that this budget request is woefully late and won't get our nation back on solid financial footing, but we will persevere. Before I comment on your budget, let me hasten to thank you for FDA's recent decision that prohibits generic crushable OxyContin from coming to market without abuse-deterrent technologies. Unfortunately, drugs misused are a recipe for disaster, and advocates across the country salute you for your leadership in shepherding this landmark decision on generic painkillers. Thank you. As you know, the abuse of prescription drugs, particularly opioid pain pills, is our nation's fastest growing drug threat. So great, in fact, that your colleagues at the Center for Disease Control have called this crisis an epidemic, just as FDA must responsibly address other epidemics like H1N1 and public health threats like meningitis from tainted steroid injections. You must also closely examine drugs entering on the market, including the prescribing patterns and potential abuse and diversion. Last week's decision by your agency will surely save lives, and I hope it's a sign of things to come as it relates to our nation's very serious pain pill addiction. Undoubtedly, the FDA is a critical partner in getting this multifaceted health, law enforcement, patient access, and education issue under control. I'm anxious to hear from you today about how we can build on this success story and what other steps FDA can take to beat back on the abuse of prescription medications, like rescheduling our most widely prescribed and abused painkillers, hydrocodone combination drugs, and limiting the indication for prescribing these powerful opioids to severe pain only. Now to your budget. Commissioner, the FDA is seeking nearly $4.7 billion, which is $622 million above the fiscal 13 level. I should note, however, that this request assumes that sequestration for fiscal 14 is undone. Far from a given, considering the President's unwillingness to truly engage on discussions to address our real cost drivers without talking more about taxes. Toward that end, this budget assumes the inclusion of 6 new user fees, including one for registration of food facilities, a fee likely to be passed on to consumers. As you can imagine, this committee and the general public has little appetite for food fees. I'm sure we will discuss this issue at length, as well as your recent comments about the effects of sequestration on food inspections and the recent court order for FDA to move forward on the implementation of the Food Safety Modernization Act. So we look forward to hearing from you this morning.